Hey guys, what's up? This is Arceus, aka Tankadin 27, and welcome back to my channel. And we're gonna go ahead and go into this second guide video in a series of guide videos to help you guys survive tanking in 4.0. So this vid's all about the talent trees. So we got our talents going on, and as you all know, they've completely changed. Talent trees have been completely revamped, redesigned, whatever term you want to use. They're completely different. And before we go into actual spec, I wanted to go over what's cool now, what's different besides obviously the tree. And we got these things called we got this stuff called mastery, and these mastery-driven global-like abilities. Buffs, I guess, for picking the spec. So if you pick protection, which you should if you're a tank, um, you get the spell Avenger's Shield. So you actually get it at level 10 now, instead of, I think it was probably in the 70s. You just get it by choosing to become a protection paladin. You get touched by the light, which is a mastery ability, and increases our total stamina by 50%, increases our spell hit by 8%, and increases our spell power by the amount equal to 60% of our strength. So that's some nice bonuses. We got Vengeance. Each time you take damage, you gain 5% of the damage taken as attack power, up to a maximum of 10% of your health. So basically, every time you take damage, if it's equal to or under, well, if it's under 10% of your health, 5% of that damage transfers to a bonus of attack power. That's not that that's pretty nice. Great threat generation. Judgment of the Wise. You regen 30% of your base mana over 10 seconds every time you judge. So, in the new spells, Judgment is all one spell. It's just Judgment. So there's no judgment. There's no Judgment of the Light or Judgment of the Wise or any of that or whatever they were called. There's only one kind of Judgment, and you automatically regen mana by judging, which is pretty nice. Which makes Judgment really high up there in the importance for when you're making your rotation, which I'll be going in depth in that in another video. And of course, our mastery ability is Divine Bulwark. So all these abilities before are basically bonuses we get just for being a protection paladin. And then the mastery ability is called Divine Bulwark and increases the chance to block melee attacks by 18%. And each point of mastery increases your block chance by additional 2.25%. So it gives us the whole idea Blizzard was going for with Paladin tanks is they wanted us to block more often, like all the time. Like if you get to the block cap, you're blocking every hit. Like the worst thing that can happen to you is you block a hit. The best things, if you don't block it, you're either parrying it, he's missing, or you're dodging it, or whatever. So it increases your block by 18% for melee attacks, and if you add more mastery, it increases your block. So that's how you reforge your gear to get to the block cap, which is I think 37%. Yeah. 37% or so, you add mastery, and each point of mastery that you reforged your gear into gives you another 2.25%. Okay, so that's what the summary is all about for the protection tree. And now we're actually going to go into the tree, and there's no real cookie cutter talent tree for tanking right now. I mean, it's gonna be this. This is what I do, but you can do this differently. Like, there's no official. This is the best spec. At least I don't think there will be. There'll always be variations that you can do. but even more so than the previous edition. So before we even think about Holy or Retribution, we're going to go ahead and talk about protection. So make it easier for you guys, I'll go ahead and do my secondary talents so I can walk through this with you all. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to obviously select protection. You should have already done that if you're tank, whatever. And what you do is word protection, right? First tier. Seal of the Pure, obvious to take, increases your damage. Seal of the Righteous, which are always going to have up. Or Shield of the Truth, my bad. Just increases your damage done. So put 2 in there. And then your other choices are Divinity and Eternal Glory. Now, Word of Glory is basically a healing spell. And it's a common misconception that Paladins, even though they're healers, you're not going to want to be healing as a tank. If you do, it's in very extreme conditions. So I went ahead with Divinity. It actually isn't that big of a, oh, of course it's Divinity. It increases all healing effects on you. It does, but it's only gonna, after you have it maxed out, it's 6%. So if you get healed for 10k or I don't know, 16k. It is. That sounds like a lot in that example, but it really isn't helping the healers out that much. So, yeah. But it's better than Eternal Glory in my opinion. Second tier, Toughness. Obvious to go with that. Judgment of the Just. Once again, really, really nice. And Improved Hammer of Justice is just the same way it was in the previous edition. It's more of a utility talent. It's great for PvP, I guess. Not so much for tanking. Third tier, Sanctuary is a must. Hammer of the Righteousness, of course. And Wrath of the Lightbringer is great. So go ahead and put that in there. We'll discuss Hallowed Ground in a second. Fourth tier, want to get Shield of the Righteous, and Grand Crusader is an awesome talent. It's got some good parts and some bad parts, but I really like it. So you got these, to move on to the fifth tier, you got these 2 talents. We're looking at Reckoning and Hallowed Ground. Now, in the previous edition, the way Consecration used to be, I would have been like, oh damn, of course, Hallowed Ground, it's awesome. But Hallowed Ground, I think you can glyph for it, it's got a 30-second cooldown. And it doesn't fit into any sort of rotation. Like the rotation, which I'll be going over in another video, it cannot fit in there. It's the only time you're ever going to use this is you might want to do it at the beginning of a pull in a dungeon. If you're looking at 3 guys, 3 mobs you're pulling, you might think about doing that first thing. But even then, you're using it once, and I don't think using it once really justifies a talent point because of how rare and expensive these talent points are. I mean, you're looking at 37, maybe 38 talent points when you're 85. And that's not that many. And to spend 1 or 2 on a spell you're maybe going to use once, it's not worth it for me. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 to Reckoning. Reckoning, by the way, after you block an attack, there's a 10% chance your next 4 weapon swings generate an additional attack. So more threat. Not that much, but enough. Holy Shields, must. Guarded by the Light. Get back to that in a second. Go ahead and do Divine Guardian. Vindication is also a must. Now the thing with Guarded by the Light is, once again, this World of Glory. Healing yourself. And it also grants you the Holy Shield buff. Now, Holy Shield, it increases your shield blocks by an additional 10% for 20 seconds. Holy Shield is really, really good. But you're not going to be wanting to... I really don't see the point of having guarded by the light. I don't see the point of using Word of Glory to get that. Like, once again, we're going back to the fact that you're using a healing spell on yourself while you're tanking, and to get your holy shield up. That's I guess a nice bonus, but really it's pointless anyway to use it, in my opinion. I mean, there might be a few um, situations out there where it would be a great idea to use it, and if you guys want to go ahead and share those in the comments, share it with other people, that'd be great. So we're going to go ahead, just to get to the next tier, we're going to put one into Guarded by Light, and we're going to max out Reckoning. Okay, so now it's pretty much mandatory to get to the bottom of the tree. You have to put 2 into Sacred Duty, and put 3 into Shield of the Templar. And Argent Defender, which is nerfed, but it's still pretty good. Okay, so now, since we've reached the bottom of the tree, the other trees open up. So you got a few choices here. You got 5 unspent talent points as of 80. First obvious decision is 3 out of 3 for Crusade. It's just gonna help you generate a lot more threat. And then you got a few choices. You got Improved Judgments, which increases the total range for your judgments by 10 yards. So obviously if you do it twice, it increases by 20. You got Eye for an Eye. I guess it's okay. It's definitely something to consider. But it's only 30% of the damage back. Granted, it stays 30 even with 2 out of 2, and it's only a 40% chance that that's actually going to happen. My opinion, not worth the 2 talent points. But if you think it might come in handy, you might want to try that out. You got Judgments of the Pure, which increases your casting melee haste by 3. You actually won't be able to max this out if you got 3 in Crusade. But it will be nice to have some melee haste. Every time you judge means more swings, which means more abilities, which means you're generating more threat. And of course, the last one, Arbor of the Light, increases the critical effect chance of your Judgment and Templar's Verdict. Templar's Verdict, I believe, is a Retribution ability. But it's mainly for, or it might be a holy, I'm not sure, but it's not in your rotation, so you're basically only using it for your Judgment crits on a 12% chance, which is nice. Actually, from what I've been reading, there's a lot of those crit chances, I believe, in our Tier 11 bonus, and it might already be in there, but I'm not sure about that, so we might, that might be totally redundant, because you already get that bonus in your gear. What I decided to do was go ahead and put 2 in Judgments of the Pure, 2 out of 3, but once again, really, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. But your main options, I say your main 3 would be Judgments, Improved Judgments, Judgment of the Pure, and Arbiter of the Light. Those are like 3 main options. Obviously, Protector of the Innocent, it's a healing buff. That's really for Holy Paladins. And Eye for an Eye, it's only a 40% chance if you max it out, and even if that chance happens, it's only 30% back. That's gonna knock bosses in Cataclysm are gonna have like millions of health. So it's not really gonna help you that much if you throw back. If you might have a less than 50% chance to throw back 30% of the damage they just caused you. I think that's from 1 attack. So all magical attacks. So every single attack has a chance, but still, if you want to go ahead and try it, go ahead. Really, it's up to you. But that is what. Oops. That's what the talent tree is all about, guys. For Protection Paladins, thank you for watching, and go ahead, stay tuned, and I'll be putting up more guide videos in the very soon future. And once again, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later.